people a chance to join in. What's up, Heather?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. Tired.
So we're going to give a minute, give everyone a few seconds to get joined in, and then we're going to go. What's up, SBD Canines, a future competitor on America's Top
they
Dog.
are.
Michael Garber and Officer Simon. Full Automatic. What's up?
What's up, guys?
Already Saturday. Yes, I know.
Yes.
Hello from Tennessee. John Canine. What's up? Maker's Owner. Episode 1. Famous Maker. Border Collie.
You just know everybody. That's my sis.
What's up? What's up, sis?
What up, Beach? He's my roommate.
Right. How nice. So as always, we're going to be going back and forth about Heather and Django's amazing run. So if you have some questions, try to save them to until the end, and we'll probably do like a 10-minute Q&A where you can ask Heather questions about herself, about Django, about the show, ask me questions. You guys should know the drill at this point. Unless you're new, then welcome. Tiger Swan says, great job, Heather and Django.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right, so we're going to jump right in this. So episode 5 of America's Top Dog. You guys were coming in. You guys had some really good competition in that episode, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, they seemed to be all vets. Like they were just ready to go.
Yeah, and as always when I do these lives, I talk about like kind of what went wrong, what went right, all that. And to be honest, coming into this, you guys weren't like the hyped up team that I was seeing a lot about.
Yeah, I guess we could be considered the underdog of the police world.
Yeah, and it was what I really saw the most hyped up team was Team Rico.
Oh yeah.
They were the team that when I do my things and say, hey, comment below who you think's gonna win, and people's texting me like all of my friends and everyone's texting me at every episode saying, oh, I know this person's gonna win. I would say out of all the Twitter, Instagram, text messages, phone calls, all of that combined that I was seeing, probably about 80% was leaning towards Team Rico coming in.
Yeah, I noticed that, and you know what? I don't blame anybody because I looked at his stats and I was like, oh man, he's got it all, and he's got the years behind him. He has all the experience in the world. So, I mean, I talk to people like that all the time, and I just want to learn off of them. Yep. So it was cool to compete with him. Yeah,
and so this was a great example. Episode 5 is a great example to show that you can't really judge a book by its cover, and and just because their highlight reel looks good, you can never count anyone else out of the fight. And speaking of a great example of that, one of my really good friends and former client of mine, UFC champion John Bones Jones, has a big fight tonight. And,
yes.
Sometimes he'll come into the fight as like the 500-600 favorite. And last time I was with him in Albuquerque about 3 months ago, he said, I never count anyone out. I train just as hard, whether I'm supposed to completely dominate or whether it's supposed to be a close fight. Because what I've learned is you can never, ever put doubt in anyone, because while you're doubting them, they're training hard for you. So it's kind of a great example to showcase that. So you guys were coming in. You have 18 months as a team when you came into America's Top Dog, right?
Yeah.
So, which was the least amount, essentially you guys were the least experienced team in the episode, correct?
Yes.
So you get why people were kind of counting you out.
Oh yeah, no, I knew exactly why, and to be honest, when talking with all those guys, I was like, oh man, they're like legit handlers.
Yeah. So you guys were the least experienced team. You were the only female competing. Yeah. So and you know, guys at this point should definitely know not to judge that based off anything, whether it's a dog sports or anything else. But you guys kind of had a lot of things psychologically where people's like, no, probably not going to win. Which is why I absolutely loved that you did. You know.
Well, I mean, going into it, it was kind of daunting, and I just went through it and was like, okay, like these guys are major, and I didn't expect much for us either. I know that sounds bad, but I just was kind of like, oh, hey, let's just go out there.
Yeah, you knew the same things that everyone else knew.
Yeah, yeah.
You knew you were the most junior, inexperienced team. You knew all the same things. So,
oh yeah.
But I truly do love that, because to me it makes the show even more exciting. Because when the person that everyone thinks is going to win wins, it's like, yeah, well, we knew he would win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, you know, nothing against Team Rico and them, but they have a stellar career and accolades and, you know, they everything. But if they did win, people would have been like, see, I told you so.
Exactly. So it was kind of cool to get that gratification at the end and let people see that, you know, every dog has its day. And
no, it's true. Yeah. So yeah, congrats to you again at the
Thank
off
you.
The top. Oh, extremely well deserved. For me, you know, I told Kurt when we were actually filming, he said, how do you see Team Django doing? And I said a lot of the same things. Well, Kurt, they're the least experienced. It's the only female hand, you know, the same exact things. I said, however, one thing that I do really like about them is Heather is a former collegiate athlete. So what that tells me is she loves competition. She loves performing at a high level. She like all these things. She's used to performing under stress and pressure. So to me, those are her X factors coming into here. Where some of the people without that competitive experience or spirit, you know, the lights and the camera and the audience and all those things cause them to make mistakes. So for me, that was one of your X factors coming in. So to kind of get us started, you guys are getting ready to run round one, the Canine Combine. You're standing on the platform. You're waiting for that buzzer to beep. What's going through Heather's mind?
To be completely honest, I was a nervous wreck. Inside, like, I was just like, man, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of lights, nothing that we're completely used to. And I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, we've only been partnered for a year and a half, so we didn't have, you know, all that bonding time to really get to know each other and how he reacts to new environments like that. I just was like, I'm going to just go.
So and you're like, we're going to crush this or it's going to be really bad.
I was like, we're just going to go with it. And I'm just going to try and stay as calm as possible on the outside. But inside, I was like,
So yeah, that's what I always, people, you know, a lot of my friends and stuff is like, man, those handlers, when they're standing there and the camera zooms in on you guys, it's like, man, you get like, they look so confident and calm. I'm like, I can assure you that's not the case.
Yeah.
Every one of them I talked to is like, if they zoomed in, they would have saw like my heart like beating through my shirt.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm pretty sure I'm like, my pulse was just popping out of my neck.
So you guys are standing there. Actually, a quick comment. Josie says, it was actually my favorite episode for sure. Django was legit in the boneyard. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. So you guys are standing there. Your buzzer goes. You enter the car slalom. For those of you that don't know or don't recall, this is where the dogs have to kind of weave in and out of each vehicle, going through the window, coming out another side. As all of you guys know, some of these runs are so good for the winners that when I do these, I try to nitpick, like find the smallest errors. However, I feel like you guys, it was pretty much flawless in the car slalom, if my memory serves me correct. You didn't have really any issue at all.
I really didn't. I don't know why. We just really meshed on it, and he just had fun with it. I can be honest with you, when we do narcotic searches in vehicles, he gets in really quick and he's like, yeah, it's not big enough for me. Let's get out. And I know that he's super toy driven. So I just had to tap his toy on that other outside window. And he was like, I'm ready. Yeah, let's go. Next one. Oh, okay. Did we get the toy? No.
Yeah,
all right.
I was going to say, you know, even trying to nitpick, which is what I do during these, there's nothing there.
Oh.
It was pretty much flawless on the car slalom.
I appreciate that. It didn't feel that way at the time. you feel like you're tripping on your own feet, and you're just like, okay, yeah, all right, come on.
So you guys got through the car slalom in 25 seconds, which is a really good time when you compare it to the other 5 episodes. It's generally about a 30-second, roughly, average. So you guys are kind of now under average getting through the car slalom. Now you enter the fire escape.
Yes.
And this is where the first thing comes in where I can nitpick. So you guys enter level 1 of the fire escape. Django's super excited. And he hits the ball, and he kind of keeps, like a pendulum, he gets it swinging. Like, are you stressing at this point? Or, like, what's going through your mind when this is happening?
I was kind of just like, I don't really know what to do right now. Like, I didn't want to touch it because I didn't want them to think I was, like, pulling on it. And so I was just like, he's going to figure it out. He just came in so hot that he was like, ugh. And I mean, if anybody actually follows our Instagram, they would know that he's actually not the most coordinated dog. I know I shouldn't bash him like that, but I throw things in the air for him, and it's like
bounces off his head,
bounces off his face, off his ear, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I don't get it.
Awesome. So a little bit of that. So Django is kind of being Django.
Yeah, exactly. Went in hot, and then he was like, oh, I have to figure this out now. And I just let him do it because that's what it's about at that point. I can't help him all the time, so he had to help himself.
Yeah, so for those that don't remember, Django, the ball's hanging, Django comes flying, gets it swinging, then he kind of tries to compensate and grab it again, but then he gets it swinging even more. And this goes on for maybe like 4 or 5 seconds. To you, it probably felt like 20 minutes, but...
Oh, gosh.
But he gets it, he works through it, he figures out the issue, he grabs it, and then for the fire escape, it was like once Django learned on level 1 what he needed to do, then he applied that. Level 2, he ran up, grabbed the ball, immediate pull down, no issue. Level 3, same, grabbed the ball, and I think he was on his way up level 3 before you were even like on the 3rd level yet. So,
everyone made fun of me. They were like, geez, you slow your dog down. And I was like, I'm sorry, but he's very young. And I was a college athlete. Was is the key word. Was. So, it's hard to keep up with these dogs. That's why you can't outrun them.
That, run 25 miles an hour. So, so once he got that first one, once he understood like the exact process, level 2, level 3 was flawless. Now you guys leave the fire escape. Now you finish the fire escape at the 1 minute mark. So you're 30 seconds, pretty much a 30-second average. You're 1 minute, 2 obstacles under your belt. Now the 3, 4, 5 foot wall. Did you feel pretty confident going into the 3 and 4 that he could jump them pretty easily?
Yeah, I didn't have any doubts that he could do it. I just knew that I would probably gonna have to slow him down for the 5 foot wall, just so he could get that running start.
Correct. Get some momentum behind him.
But I've seen him actually jump a 7 foot wall.
Okay, so you were like, all right, elementary for us.
Yeah, he's very athletic when he wants to be. He's not graceful.
Yeah. So he flies over the 3 foot wall, flies over the 4 foot wall, and then I remember, and you kind of tell me about this because I don't quite remember. After the 4 foot wall, you yelled something to him, I believe. What was that?
I yelled Plutz to have him down because I wanted him to just take a second so I could get there to like guide him over.
Kind of cast him over it.
Yeah. We hadn't worked on it where I was trusting him to just go ahead, We hadn't gotten that opportunity. So I was like, why don't we down it, then go? And I just wanted to make sure I was on the other side and made sure that he got over okay.
Yeah, and obviously he does. And actually, if you go back and watch it, because he clears the 5 foot wall, like it shows me picture in picture at the bottom, and I'm like, whoa! Because some of the bigger dogs, they're there's some advantages and disadvantages to size, and sometimes the bigger dogs, just like bigger people, have a little bit of an issue getting over higher obstacles. So I was like, oh, let's see how he does it. And then he just smoked it. So I'm like, whoa. So it showed some of that athleticism coming out in him. So.
Yeah, I kept him, you know, I know Django looks huge, but he's only 78 pounds. And
probably a lot of the fur is what gives that.
Yeah, people are like, oh my gosh, he's massive. And I'm like, he's really not.
Yeah, it's that depth.
It's an illusion.
Yeah. So he clears the 5 foot. Now onto the rope bridge. For anyone that's watched America's Top Dog, we actually have a decent amount of dogs that have issues on the rope bridge. And a lot of it's just like anything with people or dogs. It's an exposure issue. They haven't been exposed to objects that swivel and shake and its stability. So they get on it starts shaking, and they're not sure what to do. However, Django just like flew across that thing just like he was running across asphalt, essentially. Is that something, have you guys done rope bridges before or things similar to that, or what made him so great at that?
I actually don't know. We've never done one before. Obviously you know that we got to do a run through
a test
fire.
Yep.
And I just remember getting to that one and being like, I'm not sure how to take this. And I remember plutzing him, downing him right before and being like, okay, let's go. But when I tried to like tell him to go, he went. It's like he knew that if he went fast, it would
be easier.
Yeah. And so after that, I was like, oh, he gets it. I don't have to explain anything to him. And then he went so fast that I was like, dang it, I've got to catch up to you.
Again. So he flies across the rope bridge, and then you use now it's on to splashdown, where actually a lot of our police dogs and underdogs, if you guys watch, have issues, more so police dogs on the splashdown. And a lot of it, people ask, like, why are these police dogs have issues with water? Well, for a lot of police dogs, for those people out there, it just doesn't make sense for that department or that handler to do like water intrusion training, because they don't have water where they're at, or, you know, it's against department policy to send dogs into water. So a lot of dogs just aren't exposed to it. And you used a very interesting technique, is you once again yelled for Django to plots so you could catch up, because he pretty much blew past you on the rope bridge. So now you tell him plots, and he does, which to isolate that moment really fast. To me, that's really impressive. I know when a dog's like in a high drive, motivated state, how hard it is for them to be flying through all these obstacles and then just shut that down really quick and turn back into obedience mode. So that says a lot about your communication and obedience with Django, that he was able to do that and you were able to stop him. But why? What was your reason for that? Was it so you could catch up? Did you have a strategy going into the splashdown that you wanted to use, or what? Why was your reason for stopping him there?
Well, the reasoning was because I knew this is police dogs. They are smart, and they will try and find the easiest route.
Just like people. Just
like people. So why go in the water when there's a little edge on the side that I can run across and not go? So I knew that if I didn't plus him, he would just like, whoop, I'll just go this way. The edge. So I was like, just wait for me. We'll get there. And as you know, he did try to go towards around the side, and then I had to bring him back and be like, go this way. And he was like, oh, okay, I don't have a choice.
So, but did you feel pretty confident, and you knew he would go into water, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I actually practiced it right before coming to the show.
Oh, nice. And what's funny is my commentary leading up to the splashdown, as I'm like, for those that don't know, I'm like, Heather was a collegiate water polo player. Let's see if she applied some of that water training to Django. But because to be honest, I was going to be so disappointed in you if you were a collegiate water athlete and your dog didn't swim. So thanks for not letting me down.
Oh, no problem. You know, he's actually great in the water. He's just a big baby about getting in it at first. just like a swimmer. You never want to get in.
Exactly. So he jumps in. You threw his tug in, right? Or no?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you feel like that was needed, or just a little motivation?
I think it was good motivation, especially since he always wants to go around. And I knew if I kept his tug and ran, he'd be like, maybe. But we only get so much time to practice, so
Correct.
I just went with what I trusted.
What you knew
and
would work.
He would come to me once he gets his tug, and it worked out.
Were you yourself mentally prepared to take the dive in, or?
No,
You're like, Django, you better
down,
go
and I was
in.
like, you're going in.
I'll meet you on the other
matter
side.
What.
But fortunately for you, you didn't have to debate that. So,
that's true.
so you guys both make it across. You take the skirt across. Django takes the splashdown across as he has to. And you guys finish with a time of 2 minutes and 2.61 seconds. So about 2 minutes, 2.5 seconds, essentially. Which a couple things to point out. That's the fastest time of the entire night. So you had the fastest time out of all the dogs competing in episode 5. So that's impressive in itself. But you may not even know this, but to add to that, it's the fastest time that any female handlers had in round 1 in America's Top Dog history so far.
Oh. Wow.
So congrats on both of those. The fastest time of the night, and it's a very high placing time just across the board, female handler, male handler, underdog. So yeah, but it's the fastest time for your night, and it's the fastest time any female handlers had in episode 1. So or, in round 1. So congrats.
That's awesome.
So and not only was it the fastest time of the night, it was the fastest time of the night pretty substantially. I believe the second place in round 1 was about 20 seconds behind you guys. So
yeah, that was Team Capo.
Yep. So you guys pretty much crushed it. And these are solid. Team Capo, for example, just finished 4th place at a Connecticut State Canine Challenges. SWAT team, Team Rico, 4-time USPCA Regional Top Dog Award winner, 4 years in a row. So these are like some legit teams that you really smoked, for lack of a better word, in round 1. So congrats.
Thank you.
And my manager, Joe, here just said, for the record, I called Heather and Django to win before the episode started, and Nick can vouch for that. He did indeed.
That's awesome. I think there were people that were rooting for us either way, and I will say it was very stressful no matter what.
To me, like, I think I would rather, for me personally, I feel like I would rather come into the episode of people not expecting me to win. Because then if I don't, it's like, well, we didn't think you would. But if I do, then I just blew everyone away. So I think I think the people that come in with the hype are the ones with the real most pressure, because everyone thinks they're going to win. So
yeah, I can say that. Like, obviously my community was really supportive, and they're like, oh, we know you can do it, and we know it's you, and we believe in you. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. Like, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I don't want to let anyone down. But yeah, so you guys did amazing on round 1, smoked the board, fastest female handler ever in America's Top Dog history in round 1, fastest in your episode. Now you guys move on to round 2, the Boneyard. This, as anyone knows, this is where a lot of teams kind of crumble in America's Top Dog. Good teams, good detection dogs, good. But again, the Boneyards, it's 5 minutes, 5 fines, 3,000 square foot maze, open air. We're in the canyon in LA, so we have breeze blowing through. It's 2 a.m., so a wind's going, pushing odor, pushing scents. So it's just very difficult, even for highly seasoned, highly experienced teams. So going into round 2, where was your confidence at for the Boneyard?
It was somewhere in the middle. I know that Django is a great narcotics detection dog. He's great. It's me that has to read him and trust him. And, my handler or my trainer always says to me is like, you don't get so zoned in. Like, look at the big picture. And I just kept telling myself that night, I was like, okay, I'm just going to let him work the room. And I'm just going to let him do his thing. I'm going to trust him. And
so the kind of the Mark Tappan technique. Mark said the same thing. He said, look, I know I'm an idiot, and I know my dog's great. So I'm just going to let Mattis do what Mattis does best, use his nose, find odor, and I'm going to try to stay out of his way. And Mark pretty much literally said that, so I'm not saying that to bash him. Anyone knows he's a
no,
good friend of mine, an amazing handler.
I have to say.
So you had the same strategy. Let Django do what Django does, and let me not screw him up.
I do have to say though, like I did get some great advice prior to going in, from my trainer. He was like, "Don't think about the time. Just do you."
Yep, that's solid advice. And the people that do worry about the time, we see them get a sense of urgency and rush, and then they rush the dog and they kind of force mistakes on the dog. So definitely good advice from your trainer. So you guys enter the boneyard, and you come up with your first item pretty quick, and you go off leash. I recall, right?
Yes.
Was that your plan to start, do an off leash independent search?
Yes.
Again, trying to stay out of his way.
I just wanted him to be able to, I knew the rooms weren't going to be very big. So I was like, I'm going to let him do his thing. I trust him with that. And I wasn't worried about like the cameraman or anything like that. So I just knew if I kept him on leash, I'd keep him from doing his job.
Yeah, you would mess him up more than help. Yeah. So you guys enter the first room, which is the bedroom, where the odor is in the basket on the right side of the room when you enter. I remember my commentary on this. Django pretty much immediately goes up to the basket, kind of gives it a little bit of an extended sniff, but nothing. And I say he shows a little bit of interest, but not quite an alert. And so you didn't call it either. But then he kind of does another initial scan of the room, and then he comes back to the basket. So is that where it really got your attention at that point, where he goes back to where he kind of threw a little bit of interest initially?
To be honest, I think that just shows our lack of inexperience together is, me seeing the signs that quickly. Like I can tell you, seasoned handlers and my trainer could have seen that a mile away. And they're like, it's right there. Yeah. But, I just always need that reassurance.
Clear cut, final response.
Yeah. And he's an aggressive, he's not a passive.
Correct.
He needs to put his nose in or dig into it. And so I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. He tipped the basket over.
You kind of needed to see more of a definitive change.
Yeah.
And so he goes back to the basket, pretty much goes right up to it, lays his head on it essentially. And you found you read it beautifully, you called it, and you found your first item in 28 seconds, which again is really, really quick because you have 5 minutes to find 5 items. So kind of you need to be on pace at 1 item a minute, and now you're at 1 item in 30 seconds. So
yeah, really
good here. Now you guys enter the bathroom, where we actually have a decent amount of dogs have issues in our bathrooms. We got a lot of stuff going on in there. And I recall in the bathroom, you did go into a detailed search with them where you're kind of pinpointing. What was your reason to switch from the independent and the bedroom to go into a detailed in the bathroom?
So with the bathroom, I believe I picked up the plant in that one, and I was wrong.
Correct.
And so that's when I was like, I gotta go detailed now because there's so much stuff in there, and there was cabinets. Yeah, there was cabinets, and I just didn't want to miss anything, so I kind of just brought them around and was like, anything that was removable, I was like, here, sniff this, sniff this. And I just knew, he pushed his nose on the toothbrush holder, and I just knew, okay, I get it.
And so you made the call, and it was once again correct. And that put you at now 1 minute, 50 seconds. So you definitely took longer in the bathroom, about a minute in there.
Yeah.
But you're still on a good pace. Again, you have to find an item a minute. You're 2 items in 1 minute and 50 seconds. So you're still on par to do what a lot of people have trouble doing, which is going 5 for 5 in the boneyard.
Yeah.
So you move out of there and you go into the living room. I know you didn't get to see this, but a lot of the teams before you, like Team Rico, for example, had issues in the living room because there's a sofa with pillows stacked up against it. Team Rico showed a lot of interest in there. I forget, there was another team that showed a lot of interest in there. Then
it was Team Capo.
Yep. So now we have 2 dogs just crushing that sofa and pillows, which kind of, for those people that don't kind of know odor and how it works, kind of creates a disadvantage for you guys, because now there's 2 dogs now with a lot of scent all over those cotton fabric pillows.
Yes.
So now Django's like, oh, what other male dominant dogs are in this room? So now he's putting a lot of interest in those pillows on the sofa. And I would agree. I mean, I'm like, yeah, he's definitely into that, just like the 2 dogs before him. So you made the call with a pillow, correct?
The pillow.
And at the time,
I realized
seeing his change of behavior, though, did you feel pretty confident that it was the pillow?
I just felt like he was shoving into it, showing so much interest there.
Right.
But that is also the first place he went to. And, you know, if I had maybe done a detailed search from the beginning, I would have realized that he actually doesn't have any interest there at all.
Yeah.
He just kind of got drawn in. And it could have been because the way the air was flowing that night.
Yeah. And
where the scent was.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's what it was, too. It was a pretty windy night. Our boneyard's open roofed, open walled.
Yeah.
And it was directly, the scent was on the desk, directly across from our couch. So the air flow is kind of pushing it there. And essentially the dogs just have to kind of work the scent back to the point of origin. But the handlers, being under a time crunch, see that huge level of interest and they're just going for it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of like, there's interest. I'm going to take it.
Exactly.
And then I think after that, every time I've taken something that was wrong, I went into more of a detailed search after. So, and there was a lot more stuff that you could pick up in there. So I was like, oh man, let's start with the desk.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that room especially. So you bring them back in, you find out you're wrong. You bring them back in, you go into your detail, which paid off for you last time you were wrong in the bathroom. So again, good quick judgment call, going back to what worked last time. Yeah. And you picked up on the speaker, his change of behavior on the speaker, which turned out to be correct. And that gave you your 3rd item in 3 minutes. So now, once again, you had a little bit of an issue, but you're still on a perfect, not much room for error pace, but still a perfect pace of 1 item per minute average. 3 items in, dead at the 3-minute mark. Then you guys move into the locker room. Or the office, sorry.
The office. It was the office.
Yeah. You move into the office now, and I believe you kind of got out of his way again, right?
I did. I let him do his thing. There was stuff, and I saw like a slight interest with the lamp, so that's why I went back to it and kind of like tapped it to make him do it again.
Double check it.
Yeah, to reassure me, and then he did, so I was like,
So you picked up on the desk lamp, which is very quick. You removed some time now that you kind of ate up. So now you're 3 minutes and 50 seconds in with 4 items. So now you're back to a good pace with a little bit of wiggle room. You have 1 minute and 10 seconds to find 1 more item to sweep the boneyard. Unfortunately, that last room is our locker room, which a lot of teams have trouble with. There's a lot of lockers. There's a lot of things. We have sneakers and baseball hats and all kinds of stuff in the locker room to replicate a real locker room. Towels, all kinds of stuff in there. And walk us through that. You enter the locker room, now what?
I decided right away to go detailed because there were so many items and there were doors open, doors closed. Yep. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be tough. So I started on the far side and just kind of started to go as quickly as I could. But, at the same time, I'm trying to read him and make sure that he's paying attention. And then we came across the one and I almost bypass it. But he kind of sticks his nose into it. But there were 2 items in there. Oh. And so I kind of took a second and let him pick the item.
Oh, nice. So you kind of see where he kind of pinpointed with his nose.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I saw the helmet in the shoe, and I was like, well,
which one is it?
and then I just saw him like nudge the shoe, so I was like, if it's not this one, it's the other one. So
nice. And once again, you were correct, and you registered the shoe at 4 minutes and 58 seconds.
Yeah.
So you were really getting down to the wire. Yeah, I mean, you had, I think it was like 1.6 seconds left on the clock, technically. However, just like round one, amazing round two. And round one, you had the best team out of all the dogs. Round two, you were the only team to go 5 for 5 in the boneyard. So now, as a recap, you dominated everyone in round one, and now you've dominated everyone in round two as well. So are you feeling pretty good at this point, or not so much?
I was just really happy with how he did. So I was just like, oh man, like this feels good. And you know, Jamie talks to you after and she's like, you found all 5. Like, isn't that crazy? And I'm like, really? Oh, thanks. Like it feels almost surreal in the moment.
Did it take a little bit for you to register that, like, wait, I'm moving on to the final round?
Yeah, I did.
You're like, who, me?
Like, she said it. She's like, you're moving on. Like, you're going. And I'm like, cool.
Nice. So now it's a very interesting dynamic. You're moving on to the final round, which only 2 teams advance, which is you and Team Rico. The team that came in with all the hype, the team that came in with all the awards, the team that came in with all the competition experience. And to really put in perspective, the episode, it's the 2 teams, it's you and Team Rico. The most experienced and seasoned team of the episode is facing off against the least experienced and least seasoned team of the episode. Yeah. So when Kurt is like, and to be honest, you know, obviously we commentate for like 7 hours. It gets condensed to 42 minutes. So me and Kurt talk back and forth a lot that never makes the air. And Kurt's like, Nick, like, what do you see happening in the final round? I'm like, and I said just that. I'm like, well, we have the most experienced team against our least experienced team. However, I kind of used that in round one for me to judge, and Heather completely proved me wrong in round one. So I'm definitely not counting her out in round 3, because I said the same thing in round 1 and then you blew everyone away. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice and count this team out. So I'm like, I think any team can win it at this point. So going into round 3, you know you're going against Team Rico. Going into round 3, are you more stressed or more nervous than you were entering round 1? Or are you more confident and more calm entering round 3? Or about the same?
Like I was probably around the same. I went into everything the same way. I just was a huge ball of stress on the inside. And because I didn't know how anybody did, or, you know, on the first round, I went first. Yeah. So I watched everybody go, but I didn't know my time. Yeah. So
and as a lot of competitors have said, like Amanda Cauldron talked about, it's like, well, when I went, like, I felt like I was really slow, and then I watched the other competitors go, and when I was watching them, I felt like they were really fast. So I think it's hard for you to judge kind of how well you're doing.
Yeah, so I kind of just went into it like, okay, you know, Team Rico went before me, and I just was trying to stay chill and know that Django can do it. It was me that had to do it with him this time, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's very true. So you guys start round 1. To kind of preface it, Team Rico went first, as you said, and they put up a time of 1 minute 43 seconds, which is definitely a solid time. They didn't have a lot of issues in round 1, but you didn't get to see them do a round. Did you get to watch their round 1? I didn't. Or no?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, yeah. Team Rico, yeah. I saw their round. I got to watch everybody.
Okay.
On,
so you got
to Canine.
Okay, so you got to see their run. And in your mind, are you like, man, they did really good on that? Or
I thought everybody did really well. So it looks different when when you're sitting there we had a little TV in front of us with a clock, but I didn't know my time. So I was like, oh, they're doing so good. Like,
yeah, you had no reference really.
Everybody had their strengths and everybody had their weaknesses in the combine. And, you know, Team Rico just looked really smooth and he looked really calm through everything.
So he just puts up 1 minute, 43 seconds. Now you're on the platform, the doghouse, round 3. This is for it all. The buzzer sounds and you guys go up to the knockdown wall. So so I'm going to let you talk. What happens here at the knockdown wall?
He doesn't like it. Got to like practice it once and he really, really hated the noise. Like it kind of stunned him. Yeah, because on TV it doesn't sound very loud, but when you're really there, it's extremely loud and it like startled him. And the first time he tried to do it, he actually tried to jump the wall. So when he tried to jump it, he fell like super far back, and I tried to like catch him, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
So he kind of had a bad experience that almost created an aversion for him.
Yeah, so I had to call him back. He's like, "I'm not doing that again. Are you crazy?"
I almost killed myself.
Yeah. So I finally, it took him a while to just trust it and be like, "Oh, okay." And I just had to be patient with him. I really didn't want to force him to do something that he wasn't comfortable with, but I knew that he was going to do it. He just had to like give it that nudge.
Yeah, he built up a little bit of his confidence again. So to put in perspective for everyone, to recap everyone's mind, she cast him to the wall. He kind of touches it, but it's not enough the first time.
Yeah.
He kind of touches it again. Not enough the second time. The third time he hits it, the wall falls. You probably have a nice sigh of relief. And then you guys go, no issues jumping through the window. You both make it through the window. And now you guys enter the spider web, which is about 1,100 feet of bungee cord that's there to simulate dogs tracking, thick brush, woods, things like that. And you used a technique that I really liked. Normally what I see people is kind of an every man and dog for itself in the spider web, like the handler's running through, the dog's trying to make their way through. But what you did for Django, which was really cute and adorable, is is you created like a WWE like style,
like a hole for him.
Yeah, you spread it for him to make it easy for him to get through, and then you went through. And I remember in the moment, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. What made you decide to go on that strategy versus I'm just gonna try to get through it and then try to did you just think it would go smoother that way, or what was your reason for doing that?
I just knew that if he got through, I could get him there. Then I just have to worry about me.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to get through that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
So I just wanted to make sure, because if I got through and he didn't get through, then I'd have to go back in and try and help him out. So that was my thought process, was just to make sure that he got through.
And then you'll figure it out when you
yeah. And so then as you see, he takes off and I'm like, neat.
So he made it through great because, nice, again, great communication, great team. That's a great example of teamwork that you guys have is, hey, I'm going to help you out and then I'll get through. And then Django, just kind of like the 3, 4 foot, 5 foot wall rope bridge, he just takes off through low crawl very quickly. No issue with that whatsoever. And again, kind of like before, now he's waiting on you at the boxes up.
That was like the theme of the night.
He's like, come on, you're hurting our time.
Come on.
So you guys do boxes up, no issue whatsoever there. Then you move through duct work, no issues whatsoever there. Move through that very quickly. Now you guys do have a little bit of an issue on the first door breach. Talk to us about what kind of happened there.
So when he went for the first ball on the door, he went for it, but he was pulling it at a weird angle.
Like the wrong way to open it. Yeah.
And it had to be a certain angle. So he just Yeah, he doesn't sit well like Mattis. He kind of was going the wrong angle, so I was trying to like get out of his way, but the space up there is really tight. So you kind of have to move out of their way.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to move out of his way and get him to pull the other way. And then eventually he got it, but then he didn't want to let go of the ball.
Yeah. So, yep, exactly. So he gets it, but now he's like, man, I worked so hard for it. So he didn't want to let go of it for probably 2 or 3 seconds. It wasn't that long, but again, to you, it probably felt like forever. But so then he gets through there. No issues on the second door, and now it comes to everyone's favorite part of America's Top Dog, the takedown, which I'm sure you felt confident he wouldn't have an issue biting our decoy.
No.
Which is Ruben, good friend of mine, amazing decoy. He's the decoy for all the America's Top Dog episodes. Ruben gives him a nice back tricep bite presentation. Yeah. Django takes it, nice bite on the tricep. You call Django, you tell him Foos, right? Not out.
Yeah, I tell him Foos. I say his name. I say his name because that's how we recall them, is by their name. And I say, Foos, it's just worked better for us than out. He understands out, but Foos just, especially for distance bites, he's much better, and he just understands, oh, she wants me to come back. Okay.
So going into this, did you feel pretty confident in his verbal out on a decoy, or were you like, let's see?
I think there's always that
maybe
in the back of your mind as a handler. You go, yeah, my dog will out totally.
Yeah.
I have nothing to worry about. And then there's days where your dogs are stubborn and they want to do their own thing. He hasn't gotten to bite anybody in a while. And
he just did all this work in 3 rounds.
Yeah. And it was their first time, like his first time getting like that bite. So he was amped, and I knew he was going to be amped.
So he was, you tell him, Foos, and he doesn't. And how many times did you tell him? Twice? Twice. And then the second time he does, and just, I don't even know if you know this, from the very first time you told him Foos till he actually outed and came back was just over 3 seconds. So it wasn't a huge, like, battle or any conflict.
No.
But a few seconds, as we've learned in America's Top Dog, can be the difference between winning and losing. So.
Oh, yeah.
So he does out and come back on the second command, which gave you guys a time of 1 minute, 43.96 seconds, which was about 4 seconds faster than Team Rico. And the light turns colors. So did you know, like, wow, we won? Or when did it really hit you that you won America's Top Dog?
So I know it seems very stupid, but the producers tell you, if you win, the house will light up white. If you lost, the house will light up red. Well, the house lit up yellow, white, and red. And so I was like, I don't know what that means.
Is it a tie?
So I was like, yay! But everybody was cheering, and I was like, yeah! And then they were like, yeah, you won! And so I was like, oh, like, okay. Me? And then I picked him up, and I was like really proud of him, and I was proud of me. And
so it took you a few seconds to realize
it did.
You won. Well, that's awesome. So as I ask everyone, that night you find out you won, you're America's Top Dog, you had the best time in round 1, the most fines in round 2, best time in round 3. So it was a very cut and dry, unarguable, undebatable. You guys were the best team for the night. There's no contest. You know, a lot of times in America's Top Dog, we have an interesting dynamic. We have a team that does really well in round 1, and then in round 2 they fall apart. Or round 1 they had a bad time, but then in round 2 they do great. Where you guys just swept the evening in every round. So again, kudos. You guys killed it. You crushed it. Left no room for debate on who was America's Top Dog episode 5. So congrats.
Thank you.
So that night, did you sleep really well knowing that you guys crushed it, or were you so excited that you had trouble sleeping?
No, I think I slept like a baby. I think we didn't get out of there until like 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. So I was just stoked. I was really stoked for him, and I was just really proud of what we did, and I knew that I would have made my trainer proud and all my friends and my training partners proud, because they all helped me. They all, got me to where I am. They were giving me advice, and they're like, "Oh yeah, just go in, be relaxed, just and it's
easy said than done. Right?
Yeah, and that was the best part about it, is I just felt like I really did something for my training group, and I know that all the hard work that we put in together really paid off.
Yeah, you showcased it on a national level, which very few people get a chance to do that. So yeah, I'm sure everyone, your Santa Paula Police Department, your training group, everyone, I'm sure, is extremely proud of you, as they should be.
Thank you.
So yeah, congrats on an incredible round 1, round 2, round 3. And we have about 5 minutes. Instagram always cuts off at the hour mark.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
If you guys want to ask any questions to Heather about Django, about their training, about Heather, about America's Top Dog, whatever you guys want, feel free to now comment them below, and we'll take a couple questions over the next couple minutes. And I've actually spent a decent amount of time with Heather and Django. We did some interviews together, and I love Django. He actually reminds me, kind of temperament-wise, of Mattis. Like just a good, well-rounded, stable, clear-headed, no conflict dog, and I thought he was amazing. So,
somebody asked if I wore any good luck items, and I did. I wore pink socks that have Django's face all over it.
Oh, a little superstition kicking in, huh?
As an athlete, everybody has it.
Yeah, you
got to do the same routine. You got to wear the same item.
Jump over the crack right before the pool, and then jump in.
Right? Yeah. He's a good boy.
So yeah, I mean, I remember we did the set of like Access Hollywood, KTLA, and Django's just he has the textbook like on-off switch that you always hear about,
right?
Where he can be in a crowd, he can be played with, he can be pet on, people can pull on his ears, and he's cool with that, or he can chase a suspect and puncture their arm, and he's cool with that too.
I love that about him, because he just seems so mellow at times. I feel like when he's with me, just us, he's a crackhead. Just like all the time. And then when he gets around people, he's like, "Oh, aren't I a good boy? Aren't I the best?" And I'm like, "You don't do that for me."
All right, now I'm gonna read through some of these comments. Mark Tappan says Mattis wears Django pajamas to bed.
If he had some Mattis pajamas, that would be great.
There he is. There's the other star of the show.
Yes.
Cody Bareface, which is a really good friend and one of the greatest decoys, Cody Talent, says, "Hello, good looking live, Django Unchained, Heather is hot."
Thanks. I showered for you guys, so.
What is Django's favorite food? Tiger Swan asks.
Yeah, he actually eats Purina Pro Plan, the veterinarian, EN. So it's kibble. He gets about 4 cups, and he takes it with nice warm water. Break it up. And...
Aquafina, warm.
Yeah. He likes his Evian, but he just gets tapped.
Helena asks, "Are you his first partner? Because you two make an amazing team."
No, I'm actually not his first partner. He was partnered with somebody else for about a year, and then I went out for the position and was able to be placed with him. And I don't know, it just worked out. I think it was meant to be.
It's clear. I mean, it's hard to work out better. So you guys proved that for sure. My inspirational says, you made everybody proud. I cried like a baby.
That had to have been one of my sisters.
Mark Tappan says, she did a tote your dog at the end.
I did. I don't know why I did that, actually. It was like one of those moments where you're just so proud. Yeah, you're so proud of your kid, and you're like, I want to show people that I'm so proud of you. And so I just picked him up.
He definitely made everyone proud. Sarah Lynch says, you are awesome, Heather, and Django kicks ass.
He does. He does. Thank you. He's a good boy when he wants
English
to be.
Fam says, Heather is perfect for Django. You know,
Yes.
there's a lot of truth to that. I'm sure Heather has, I know Mark has. I've seen, decent handlers or with really good dogs and it doesn't work out, or really good handlers and the wrong dog. So to have like the ultimate, it's kind of like a relationship, not just one of the partners can be great and the other one is lacking in something. They kind of both need to be on the same page, have the same understanding of communication. So there's a lot of truth that comes with that too. Yeah,
I mean, it shows a lot. We learned a lot from being on the show too. So I feel like our bond only got stronger after that.
I'm sure. And Mark always is humble and is like, no, I'm an idiot. And Mattis is just a great dog. But as
a liar.
Now, that's not true. Like Mattis or Django could have ran that same course, same everything, but put them with different handlers, and the outcome could have been extremely different. They could have went from, maybe getting the first place to last place. So it truly takes both. It truly takes a good handler and a good dog, especially to be America's Top Dog and to win it. You're not going to get away with just being a good handler or just having a good dog and win America's Top Dog. So congrats to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved.
Thank you. We really appreciate it, and we had a blast. And I'm just really proud to be with the other winners of America's Top Dog.
And maybe we will see you back for the season finale, where some of our top dogs compete against each other for episode 11. And our time's wrapping up. Instagram's giving me the countdown. So don't forget, guys, tune in this Wednesday, 9 p.m. on A&E for America's Top Dog, episode 6. Another amazing episode that you guys are going to hear me talking about. And there's one more look at Team Django.
Get off. Thanks, you guys.
All right. Bye, Heather.
Bye.